Good evening, good evening. Today is April 12th, 2023. It's at 6:30. This is the Police Accountability Board's meeting for today. Thank you to everyone who's joining us online. Hopefully you can hear us. If you cannot hear it, can you just put a one in the chat real quick? Okay. So I'll take that you can hear. So we'll go ahead and take a roll real quick. I don't have that. So if I can, when I call your name, if you could just state your full name. Melton?
Lafayette Melton.
President. There. I'm taking the roll, so I said when I called your name, oh, thank you.
But I don't think you said my name.
Oh, I said Ms. Beard.
Yes, it's not my name.
Oh,
My name is
I'm
Sheila
sorry,
Bryant.
Ms. Bryant. I apologize. Ms. Bryant,
Sheila Bryant. I'm president.
thank you, ma'am. Dr. Coleman? Mr. James?
Keenan James.
Daniel?
Danny Bergamini. Oh, which one?
Jones, I'm sorry. Mr. Jones?
Daniel Armando Jones.
Present. Mr. O'Neill?
Earl O'Neill, present.
Thank you, sir. Mrs. Ridley? Absent. Mr. Sanchez?
Carlos Sanchez, present.
Mrs. Springs? Mr. Bergamini?
Danny Bergamini, here.
Thank you, sir. Next up is the minutes. Did anyone not have an opportunity to review the minutes? Yes, okay, thank you, sir. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from March 8th and March 27th?
Second.
Can we do one?
Okay, yes, ma'am. Minutes for March 8th. Is there a motion?
Move to approve the minutes for March 8th. Second.
Danny? Yes, yes. Go around and just say yes and,
Discussion.
sorry?
If there's any
Oh,
discussion.
are there any discussions on the minutes?
Mr. Chair, I did one. There are a couple, if it's okay, without going into, I saw some, spelling mistakes, so if we can, if the board would be okay to just correct them.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I know in the 8th, we have in here, that Ms. Hall was supposed to send us proposed FY 24 budget to board members.
On the 8th?
Yeah, I thought that, is Ms. Hall
Okay.
reading the right one? I think that was.
Mr. O'Neill, can you speak up? They can't hear you.
I said, on the 8th, it was in here that, and I think I had requested, form that the board, should receive a copy of the FY 2024 budget for the committee.
Okay, so, yes, so on that, Ms. Hall sent it to me, and I forgot, I did not send that out. Thank you, Denise. So that was my mistake. So I'll make sure you get a copy of that before we leave. Sorry about that, Mr. O'Neill. Yeah?
Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, cool. So I'll take the roll for the vote. Bryant?
I agree with the minutes.
Sorry?
That I have reviewed
Oh,
the minutes,
thank
and I agree with
Okay,
the motion to.
okay. Dr. Coleman's not here. Mr. James?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Melton?
Yes.
O'Neill?
Yes.
Ridley? Absent. Mr. Sanchez?
Yes.
Springs? Absent. Mr. Bergamini?
I abstain.
minutes approved for March 28th, 2023. Yes. Oh, no, I apologize. Yes, the chair votes yes. Thank you, Tangi. Minutes from March 27th. 22nd. I don't know why I keep saying it 27th. Thank you. Motion to approve those minutes?
I move to accept the minutes of March 22nd.
Seconded.
Thank you. Chair votes yes. Okay. Oh, discussion. Got it?
Okay.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
Any? Okay. So I'll go back again. You didn't have anything, did you, Mark? Okay. Ms. Bryant. Where did I stop? Let me start over again. I apologize.
Yeah, nobody, you didn't start on this.
I did not.
22nd.
Oh, okay.
You just do it.
Ms. Bryant made the motion and Mr. Bergamini seconded it. Okay. Thank you. That's where I'll start. Dr. Coleman. James?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Jones? Yes. Thank you, sir. Mr. Melton?
Yes.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Mrs. Ridley? No. Sanchez?
Yes.
Springs? Bergamini?
I abstain.
Thank you. Okay.
What do you do, Mr.
What do you
Bergman?
I vote yes. The chair votes yes. Thank you. Minutes approved for March 22nd. I got it right that time. Old business, Marvin Joe, did you want to go down here, or you want to?
Where are we? Yeah, we can start.
You sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Old business, strategic planning session 2. So, we'll go ahead and, Marvin Joe, you take it. One of the things I did want to say real quick is that, we sent out the looking back responses. We wanted responses back to kind of try to condense the conversation around, the strategic planning. A lot of people did not respond, right? So, so hopefully we can move this along, pretty quickly. Yeah.
This was the feedback you requested by the 31st, is that correct?
For the 29th, 31st,
29th, what, right around there? Okay.
Camp, you have the floor.
So
yeah,
I had
question.
quite a few contributions to the document, but I wasn't sure if it was being translated to Excel. So I sent an email to see if that went through.
I didn't get an email.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you got,
To ask what?
But you said your comment was that, you had already made your comments or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
oh, you got,
Yeah, well,
okay.
any comments that were made were included, but this was to do additional, you know, we got through some of the goals and we got through some of the objectives. And today we were to do the vision, and I think I got, vision comments from Mr. James and Ms. Richards. So those are the ones we'll use. I didn't see a separate one that came. Did I get, I only
I
got,
think I sent you Danny.
I apologize.
Email I sent to you, but it was basically said you'd already made, if I'm not
I apologize.
characterizing what it said.
I have,
Probably later.
you can share it, right?
Probably No, later. All
Do
right.
you have it with you?
Like, edits.
Do you have it?
But you know what, that's okay.
No, it
I don't
isn't.
have it here with me,
I might have it in a sent folder or something, I can look.
If you
in
can.
the email.
Okay. Did anybody other than me receive them?
No, I sent them to you.
Okay. So is there a way, I don't know how to share, so that they can see what was,
Well, if I find them, I can send them to the board.
okay.
Mr. Mo, can you find yours too?
Well,
Did you get it?
so it was a Google Doc, correct? So I was under the presumption that when I was making the edits in there, that they would be saved as the
Oh,
general
okay,
Google
yeah.
Doc. So it wouldn't have my name on it or anything, they would have just
Well, I
said,
didn't get a Google Doc, I got an email, with the text in the email, but not Google.
Yeah, no, when you share a Google Doc, it should be so that the group that has access to it,
Should be able to see the data.
and when you make edits, they're real time to the main document.
Yeah,
And I just asked Denise if she could confirm that she saw any of that, 'cause I
Oh.
wasn't sure if it was gonna go through.
yeah, I didn't see it, and one of the things that I kinda was a little hesitant to do, 'cause I think unlike track change, to make, it real changes it, right?
Yeah,
So you don't
exactly.
know what was before for people to agree with.
Right.
So, we kinda needed in just a email.
Well, I did save it.
Okay. So, if you give me 1 second, so do we want, 'cause it looks like we didn't get.
Okay, so then, yeah, you wanna do it on the back end then? Is that okay?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have his,
Yeah,
I don't have David's, I don't have,
alright, so,
I didn't
are
get,
we even gonna be able to get through that tonight?
I don't know. I mean, I'm happy if she makes copies of it, then we can.
Okay,
So the stuff I can pull up on my phone doesn't have all my comments, because I can't. That was probably like the challenge that you had originally when I sent it,
But
we talked about it.
itself, that was shared with us.
Because I also sent a whole list of additional police training and stuff that
Okay, good with that.
other training and stuff that,
And I don't wanna hold this
with
up.
the.
Do we
you,
have the
Denise,
ability
and-
to put it on the screen, the share screen?
It wasn't a Google Doc.
So, Mr. Nelson's comment?
Okay.
Or
Word
Mr. James' comments,
I saw
or,
it as an attachment.
at least for the vision, if we
should
could
be able
get
to
through
do
the
that.
vision.
you should be able to do that.
Thank you. I have. So maybe while that's happening, maybe we go to the next one.
Alright, cool, so, we're not gonna do the break, though. So move on until we get that, and we'll share it on the screen. We'll go, to new business, reviews and recommendations. Call that trends and recommendations. So,
I'm down, I have your chance.
oh,
At least I did a minute or so.
okay, so can everybody listen up, please? We can be on the same page. So we wanna talk about reviews and recommendations, when it comes to what we're supposed to do, what we're mandated to do. I had a conversation yesterday with, the ACC, and we saw some things, and we thought that it would be good, to kind of brainstorm collectively together, from some of the things that we see. Oh, did you have something to say, Ms. Vice Chair? Some of the things that we see, but in this session, I'd like to get some input, with recommendations, from this group today. If you have any
Training or recommendations, period?
recommendations, both training and,
For our activities?
yes.
Okay, I do have one. I recently, I think it was last Thursday, attended a coffee circle
Mhm.
for police group 3 and 8.
Okay.
And there were several police officers there, and each precinct, I guess, gave their synopsis of what was happening in their area, like the increase in car deaths, blah, blah, blah. And I think that might be a good community outreach, type of activity. They happen once a month for each of the districts for community outreach.
Oh, okay.
And in fact, I did introduce myself and asked people wanted to know what the Police Accountability Board does. So I think that's a really good way to share with them.
And they have it when, did you say?
Each group is different,
Okay,
but they usually have it once a month. But this particular one is the first Wednesday of the month,
okay.
like 1:00 in the afternoon or something.
So you said that they shared some of the things that they saw as well
Mhm.
with you? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the police, not with me, they shared to the group.
This group,
For
okay.
instance, there's an uptick in the theft of certain vehicles. I mean, you probably heard
Oh,
of
right.
that kind of thing. And then the availability of locks, wheel locks or steering
Okay.
locks, something for those things.
Okay,
And that's the kind of information that they share.
Okay.
And, you know, what the crime rate, is it up or down from last time?
okay,
That kind of thing.
okay. So that'll be part of our community outreach the first
Yeah.
Wednesday of every month, okay,
No, each one, there's, I guess, 5 different ones.
Okay.
And each one meets on a different day. This one was sponsored by Belinda Queen.
Oh, okay. I know this. Okay.
And that was there's a Capitol Heights Coffee Club that meets on the third
Oh, this is the coffee club, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I can get the dates of those
Yeah.
coffee clubs, yeah. Okay. Coffee club. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
just to add to that, I think each district, like the seventh district,
Mm-hmm.
have a public safety committee that they meet, I don't know, once a month too. And a lot of those people who come to the meeting is from the civic associations in that community, you know.
Yeah, that would be another opportunity for us.
Can you repeat, you said the civic?
Public safety. Public safety?
Yeah, each, like the seventh district have a public safety committee, and,
Talking about the advisory committees?
well, I don't, you know, it's like the
Yeah,
Dallas Civic Association.
yeah, that's the
And then one of
CAC,
their members comes to the police station to meet there, and they basically
Yeah.
report what you were saying, like, you know, if it's a kick and, carjackings or something in that neighborhood, so the community would know and stuff. But we probably have to just check with the individual and see if they have, or, you know, what the date, like you said, one's like Wednesdays and some might be Tuesday nights, or first Tuesday or the second Tuesday, something like that.
Yeah, so one of them is on, the first Wednesday. One is on the second Monday, the Capitol Heights one.
Okay.
And I'm not sure of the others, but we can find out.
Yep, okay, thank you.
And that's, I think that's a great way to reach the community.
Okay. Okay.
And also, I think we can reach out to other civic organizations themselves. There are lots of organizations
Yeah, I
that are
think
in the community.
that was gonna be part of the, strategic planning, correct, Mama Jeff?
I thought that's what we were talking about. No?
Nah.
Okay, the recommendations for,
Policies and trends in policing.
I have a couple questions.
Yes, wait,
I'm done.
okay, yes, sir. Mr. Vice Chair, jump in anytime.
Maybe I missed something. You're suggesting that we're making recommendations for policy changes? Or-
No, so what I'm asking is, what do we wanna, like, focus on? What type of policies, or data do we wanna capture that we think we might wanna look for? I'm sorry, yes, ma'am, Denise?
No, I was gonna say, I did send you all copies of the legislation, the regulations,
Yes.
so as we begin to look at that and see if there are any gaps, any way that we can strengthen those things, or any problems you see with those particular things. I know that you all haven't had a chance to look at them, but I thought maybe you all, Calvin was thinking maybe that you all could, begin the discussion tonight.
Did you send that today?
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got that, Ms.
Just
O'Neill?
in future, I need more time than just a day, please.
Right.
If that's available. Also, if you're asking for topics and trends, then I think we can nominate, you know, different topics that we might wanna, and I'm asking, but, maybe we could talk about different topics or trends or issues that we want to research or ask about and do the analysis, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, that makes more sense. So, what comes to my mind are things like hiring practices, body cam, the things that are in the national discussion, for law enforcement, and we can, it would almost make sense to me, because it's hard for me to do without being able to research a little bit, is to come back or suggest those online, and we can come up with a list effectively, or because we can name a lot of things right now, but I don't think that would be a small list if we're just thinking of some other things that we, but, I mean, those are two big issues, are hiring practice, and that has to do with how the departments screen applicants for lateral transfers or lateral hires of officers that have been with other departments, that you're dealing with sometimes officers get in trouble in one department and then move to another department, and then they start, if you will, but dealing with a potential trouble officer. So my question would be how the different departments are screening for that. Another example, or another question would be, body cam issues? What are their policies? How does that work? When are they required to do it? Are they required to do it? All the different departments there, the funding. Each one of these topics to me has easily a dozen questions that we would want to ask. And like I said, I'm sure we could all go around the room and come up. Whether they have and those are just, like I said, just off the top of my head, I know there's, is that what you're asking for?
Yeah, so hiring practices for officers, particularly with lateral moves from other departments, and body worn camera for each department, the policy.
Those are just two of.
I'm just making sure I have it right. I know that they're just two.
Any two better thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
I realize I'm kind of in the corner too, so we're
With
with that, I think something in terms of data to track, I think retention, and also like incentives, that work towards retention, right? Like what are the ways they're trying to keep officers on the force, or they're trying to, which kind of plays into hiring practices, right? But once you have someone on the job, how are we keeping them, right? Like what are we seeing in terms of time frame, in terms of, recently, maybe throughout the pandemic or even recently, how are folks sticking around or not? And like, I think it's a pretty, like, glaring one, but like, in disciplinary procedures internally, right? Like, when you do get a complaint, right, I think we need to be seeing how many times, or the data on, like, if it actually goes through the avenues that, whatever the maybe laid out procedure might be, that, they say to have, so these are two things to keep in mind, I think.
Question follow-up on that. Are you asking for that data separately from what we should already be getting?
Not
Or,
necessarily, I guess I'm just saying that if not something we already get, like, that should be something we make sure to be, like, tracking, keeping in mind, seeing what that looks like, in terms of, because I would assume that if we ask someone what their disciplinary procedures are, there's probably like at this point, you do this, or talk to this person at this point, so I kind of mean data on if it hits these milestones in the procedure, right, like, where does it go through that process, if it's going through that whole process, like, if the oversight is happening, I guess.
I think with any one of these topics, we could probably refine it to ask, and probably a subset of information that we would ask to answers to those questions. Hot topics. And how do they, what kind of training do they get for de-escalation training?
Okay, hold that thought for a second. Let me go to Denise.
I just wanted to address, Dan, that there's a state disciplinary matrix that guides the discipline now, it's not enough of the department.
You might have a copy in here too, Dan.
Yeah, it would have been in his findings.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
And what kind of training they get for, or how often they deal with special needs populations. Autism, people with emotional disturbance issues, people with. Is there training, is there, development, and like I said, each one of these are broad topics that we could probably boil down to a couple of 2 or 3 key questions that we want to ask to start with, and to get at those key questions, we could probably ask, we ask for, we want this data, this data, this data, this. Send us that, we look at that, we evaluate it in an attempt to answer those key questions that we've sort of developed, and we refine those key objectives or those key questions pretty solidly. We don't have to answer everything at once, because we've got lots of time. Answer questions over time. But that way, we're not trying to bite off everything, like say about a training, body cam issues is a huge thing. What is it we would want to know about body cams? Specifically, what kind of things? But these broad topics which is, I think, what you're asking.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
When I was at that meeting, one of the majors said that there's a new policy where the number to call for mental health is 988, and that, maybe that's something we could track. It's like, how many times do they get referred to the 988 rather than 911? they report unusual behavior, who comes?
About that?
Mr. O'Neill, I saw your hand up.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay. One thing that was interesting to me is if we could get national data so that we can compare and contrast. That could be a number of categories. The other thing for me was determining if we could get statistics on the types of complaints in their particular categories to see if, there are larger trends and, maybe there's more complaints in this area versus another.
Okay.
If we can see that there's a large amount of complaints in one particular category, we may see that might need more emphasis to be addressed, or, might need some solutions surrounding that versus others.
National data, okay.
Speaking of national data, the NACOM meeting is, the gathering is in. Speak up just a little bit. I'm sorry, what did you?
Is that the one Danny was talking about earlier?
I was saying that the NACOM conference is in November in Chicago. That may be a good place to get some of that information.
Yeah, let's send some delegates.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just, one of the biggest things, and I don't know how we deal with it, has been on the news, is the whole hiring thing, Have you seen where everybody doing these signings, but I think DC went up to $20,000 signing bonus, and Prince
25, yeah.
25. Did it go to 25? Okay. Yeah, and I think billboard out there where I live at is for Anne Arundel County, and that's what I think we should look at what are we doing trying to what are we doing like recruit and getting good officers. You know what I mean? What is our strategy? Because I think ours is only 15. It's George's. And then these smaller ones, I think they don't get nothing. But I think Montgomery is 20. DC is 25. George is 15. Just see what the chief, Prince George's chief is doing to his battle to recruit. It's like basketball. You know what I mean?
Actually, there was a second chance hiring thing Prince George's County did with employ Prince George's, and there was a recruiter there, a police recruiter, and we sat down and talked about how much difficulty he's having and what areas they're going out and looking for young people.
That was a coffee meeting, you mean?
No, this was a hiring job fair, rather.
Oh, okay.
Sponsored by Prince George's County, employed Prince George. And there was a recruiter there. It's for returning citizens, jobs that are open for returning citizens. And he just happened to be, he was there. Of course, most returning citizens cannot be employed because they've got a permanent record. But anyway, he was just talking about, so he goes to play basketball with the kids. He goes to, in the community, those kinds of things to encourage people to see police officers as people and not as somebody to run from.
No, go ahead. I talk too much. Go ahead.
No. One of the things I think, or I recommend for us, is looking at definitions of some of the words and terminology that we use. One of those that I have struggled with is police misconduct. And the reason I struggle with it is the way the code is written, I don't think it matches community understanding. And I think it's a one-word change. Because if I read it correctly with the definition, you gotta meet 1, 2, and 3. If you change the and to or, it could be 1, 2, or 3. And the way it's written, if the complaint doesn't meet all 3, then it's not even a complaint. It's not considered police misconduct by code. That's something that we need to look at, because I think that that's a PAB recommendation in order to serve the purpose as well as clarify that for the community. So there are a couple terms that we often use that I think need to be reviewed, make sure that we're all using the same one, and if there are word changes that we should recommend, then I think we need to make those recommendations, because for me, I can see some potential, problems because of one word.
Could I ask, would that be legislative change or county exec or council change, or what would that be that?
I won't be the expert in that field, but I'll say there is some places. I mean, the county could do something, the state code may be something else, but if we use the definitions that are out there for some of the terms that we've been using, I could see some easy ways of getting around a lot of the purpose of this board.
Interesting, the recommendation could go a lot of places. It could be to, advocate at the state legislature, it could be at different places.
So I wanted to use that as a jumping off point. We mentioned that everybody received the legislation, and one of the things we're asking you all to look at are those gaps. So that one, because that one has a big impact, for example, on what gets transmitted and when. And if it's an or, it's going to get transmitted. If it's a and, you shrink the amount of misconduct. So when you read the legislation and the regulations, that would be an example of what we want you to be looking for. Let me give you another one that we've discussed, and that is the definition of police officer. And in there, whether or not the sheriff, whether or not chief of police, are they subject to are they subject to the legislation? Because the statute talks about police officers, except for those entities, and if they're not covered in the definition of police officer, where should it be included? Let me give you another one. I'm just giving you examples of what we want you to be looking for. Under the PAB provision, it talks about review for internal and external complaints. But in the ACC provisions, it only makes reference to external.
Yes.
So what happens to that body of internal complaints for purposes of going to the ACC and or coming to there? The other example is the ACC portion says you all have a responsibility to review quarterly, but there's nothing in the police portion that said they got to give it to you. So there are some gaps in the way it's written, and we do know that the county is in the process of looking to strengthen it. And so what I think we're asking for is recommendations from this body to be helpful as they look at areas of, I don't want to call it deficiencies, but areas of clarity or gaps.
And for me, to be honest, for me, that's why words matter. Because when you look at the words in the paper in the legislation, and you go look at the definition, if it's codified, it may not mean exactly what you think. And so, for me, police officer, as is codified, would not include the sheriff, deputy sheriffs, all, because they are not considered an officer.
And also
And if you're looking at an agency that has three officers.
How does the state define police officer?
That's what they.
Police officer, yes.
Yeah, and in the language it says except for.
There's no police officer.
They have police, but then they specifically exclude certain, like chiefs and sheriff, right?
So they're not police officers?
Not for purposes of to Mr. James' point.
So then how do they wear a badge?
They are a law enforcement
They're law
officer.
enforcement, but not police officers.
I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at, is how does the state define them? And what you're saying is, if I understand correctly, there's a mismatch in the language.
And even if you exempt them, is there another way to make sure they're covered? If you have a recommendation for that. You know, those are the things we're trying to get. And then the other thing we're trying to get you all to look at is the statutory language and the regulatory language to make sure that they align. So I think Denise, you gave them three, right?
Yeah, I gave them the regulations from the Maryland, Training and Standards Commission, I gave you the, legislation from the county, CD 2122, and I gave you HB 670 as the rule.
We're going to law school this weekend.
But I think because the county is trying to strengthen it, that I think you all looking at it with your sharp eyes can be really helpful in seeing some things.
Can we get the notes from all those meetings that we had prior to the?
Or those work groups.
Are those minutes, actually, now that I think about it, are those minutes available?
I don't know.
Because I know there were a number of issues we covered in those.
I can make sure you get them.
I know we talked a lot about internal versus external, and
Mhm.
several other issues that came up that easy to key off of.
So that's what we want you to look at those for.
Sure.
Okay.
Ben, did you write down?
I think I did,
You think you did?
yeah, well, just to touch back on the point of, like, things to keep in mind, I think even asking what data they already collect, or what folks are already tracking, gives us kind of a baseline. I think you might have.
I think Mr.
someone
Melton
on that,
said
right?
that, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember. I'll go now.
Yeah.
I'd be interested in looking at the interoperability of the IT system. Can they share information? And can they share that information? That may be new or needed, as we're looking at countywide now with all the different departments that we. That might be an interesting topic.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
We are looking at, some various case management, software applications from around the nation, particularly the one that's being used by Chicago to manage their cases and to manage their public, dashboard. The public can actually go in and query, on different things and see where, how many uses of force,
It's not county status. It's not county status.
No, it's not at all. But we're looking at that, we've had, several demos, participated in several demos, but I've been most impressed with the one from Chicago. But we are, as, administration, trying to look at something that can be used by all of the entities and not tied into the county's, mainframe, but it will be on a platform.
How much or how little are we coordinating with, or do we need to with other counties? Other neighboring counties?
In terms of, when you mean coordinated, explain.
So, for example, if we're collecting data on, rates of officer shootings, or something like that. And we wanna look at patterns or trends or potential issues that come from that. I don't know how this. Are we sharing with neighboring counties for counties data? And are there trends that are crossing county lines? The county is a rather arbitrary line.
Understand. The short answer to that is no. The long answer is that it's something that we can consider doing. We would have to find out what, data they're actually collecting. That isn't something that we're doing.
And to that end, I guess, are we in touch with other PABs?
Yes.
And other ACCs? Are we sharing any lessons? Even up with the Joneses, so to speak?
We're not sharing information, but we are drawing down information and looking at what they're doing. We've been looking at their meetings online. We've been reading their minutes to glean some kind of best practices and ideas for how we can do, and we've been forwarding those to the chair and the attorney so they can begin to look at, recommend something.
Mr. Bergamini?
President?
Abstain.
I don't.
Okay, so thank you for that. I wrote down all of that stuff, all of those suggestions. I apologize. At this point, we're going to go ahead and let Marvin Joe go back. We're going back to the old business strategic planning. So Councilmember Joe.
And so, again, you may get a second bite at this apple. We're gonna go through what we have. Does not mean we can't submit, because we got a number of objectives. If it's possible to put Ms. Ridgely's, vision on the screen. Yeah? No?
I'll take it right downstairs, hold on 1 second. I got it. One of the board members is downstairs, so she can go let her in.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, can you add one more
Did you send it to
Yes,
him?
sir.
demographic?
Okay, if you can pull it up, you can see it.
No, I sent it to Ashley to project on the screen.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
that's what I said, you said demographic.
Officer demographic.
Says that in
I
it.
know you all don't want me to do that, because I can project on Mars.
I like that, that's a good one.
Ashley,
That's
one
important.
came from Burger Media and one from Mel.
So we're gonna start with the vision. And, you sent something vision that I see, so that can go up there. Yeah, okay. In the meantime, as waiting on Ashley, I will read this one. This was from Ms. Ridgely. This is her recommendation. As a world-class exemplar with transparency and honor towards building safer communities, instilling accountability, and establishing, maintaining equity in the administration of law enforcement and justice for all Prince George's, the PAB represents the citizens of Prince George's County by creating a community of focused, collaborative, accountable, and trustworthy law enforcement and public safety agencies, as well as an informed citizenry. And I think it's gonna be, Ashley can put it up there. And then I would just start to read, Mr. James gave us a series of suggestions, if I can share those. And it may be for tonight, if there are certain words that you wanna make sure is in the vision, and then we can come back and wordsmith it.
So this was just the vision section, right?
Only the vision section, yes. Mr. James' recommendation, to represent the citizens of Prince George's County with transparency and honor while improving the quality of life for all Prince Georges. And he gave a set of bullets, so that's what I'm reading as we wait. Know before you go what to do.
No, that's not me.
Isn't this you?
The only thing, got you, I understand where you're reading, how you're reading it.
Yeah. The
The only
suggested
thing-
language for vision statement,
Yeah, I only tinkered with one vision statement language,
is that the
and that was
creating a
yeah, that's the only thing I
Now, who are the other ones coming from?
can't answer that.
I don't know, are those yours?
Were those the ones already in there?
Were those
Yeah,
the ones that
That we did last week?
Oh, we did,
Yeah,
yeah,
those are the ones that we
okay,
did
I'm
this-
sorry.
at our
I
last meeting.
apologize, I thought they were all, okay. So Mr. James, although he just left us, is creating a cooperative collaboration with law enforcement and the community to strengthen the relationship, build safer communities, and restore equity in the administration of justice. I know we don't have time to wordsmith, so what I'ma just ask you all today, are there certain words that you wanna make sure get included, okay, in the vision, and then we can come back to it, 'cause it could take us all night just to get this part. So I'll start with, Ms. Ridgely. World class, is that something you wanna make sure is in the statement? Huh?
She's not here?
You were asking the board, right?
Yeah, I know, I'm reading
Oh,
her.
okay.
Yeah. World class?
I'm personally not a fan of it.
Okay.
Yeah, me.
Anybody want it?
No.
Okay. Transparency?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Honor?
Absolutely. What you thinking?
We'll,
Either or? Okay.
building safer communities? Yay, nay?
I mean, to me, some of this is, when you're wordsmithing, I'm not hung up on
A particular word, right.
Well,
as long as that's, but I understand where you're going with that, so I know that you want a couple of
You
things.
know
For
what
this
you-
particular phrase, I'm okay with however that.
okay. Accountability,
Yes.
equity. I say no.
Say no.
Y'all say no? Justice? No.
Don't like that when they get.
Yeah, that's hard to.
Yeah.
Collaboration?
Yeah.
Yes. We said accountability. Trustworthy?
It's gonna be redundant.
And it says trustworthy law enforcement and public safety agencies.
I'm not a fan of that one.
Okay. Informed citizenry?
I like the idea of it, but I'm not
Yeah.
stuck on those words.
Right.
Okay.
I find that to be the case with many of these phrases. I like the idea of what's being said, but I'm not hung up on that exact phrase.
Because what I'm gonna ask you all to do is I ask each time, we're gonna pick those, and then when you all come up with this vision statement that y'all gonna send to Denise, these are the words you can only include, okay? Because y'all have agreed on it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Informed citizenry? No? Anybody want that? And I don't even have my glasses that I can see
You
what
can
the
see that
note
one.
is saying no.
Right.
Okay. We said transparency, honor, improving the quality of life.
I like that.
The vote, how many want it, how many don't?
The vision for the police accountability board.
This is what was suggested by different people, so y'all can vote on it, so you know how to do it.
Yeah, I don't know who said it, but I thought it was a great point, last meeting, where they said, I think it's really key for us to focus on what our vision is for what we can have the capacity to impact, as opposed to these grandiose terms and things that sound good, but really we can't ensure we're gonna have an impact.
I think you said it, Mr.
That's
Melton.
As soon as you said insure, you lost.
Oh, yeah, that's not the
Right.
word, okay. So, the ones who are vocal have said no.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, you were vocal
No,
too,
no, yeah.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. Creating a cooperative collaboration with law enforcement and community to strengthen the relationship.
Yeah, it does.
That puts us on.
We wanna keep, okay,
She said it sounds redundant, that's what she said. Yeah. But it's kind of, in the abstract, the words are good, but it's like, you read it, but it's kind of hard to.
I know it's hard, but if we had hit,
Oh, what?
never mind. Build safer communities.
We aren't going to do that, we're going to ensure that.
Nope, don't
We
use
ain't
that
sure.
word. Don't use that word. Don't do that.
We're gonna work towards.
Right, there you
Our
go.
vision is to promote,
That's the word, promote, right,
promote safer communities.
right,
Do you
okay.
like that?
Yeah?
Okay. We said yes to transparency.
Yeah.
Did we say yes to building relationships with law enforcement agencies and government officials? No.
That's important.
Anybody?
To do.
Okay.
I don't know if that's part of our vision, but yeah.
Mr. Melton, thank you.
Equity, did I ask you all about equity, and we
Yeah.
said yes? Okay. Provide transparent and effective services to improve police accountability.
No.
We already said transparency and
Can't
accountability.
provide no services.
And building trust? Trust,
I think trust will be an
Yeah,
important.
definitely
Okay.
trust is the word, right.
okay, and did you all say yes or no to world class? I thought I saw here.
I
We
said,
ain't doing no work.
Okay.
We said no to equity too.
no,
So,
you said no to equity?
We didn't.
Say no to equity.
y'all said no to equity these two?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So what Denise or staff is gonna send you are all of the verbiage that you all have said can be in the vision. Can you please put together a vision statement based on those for us to vote on for the next meeting?
By when?
Can we, go ahead.
No.
I'll share with her what happened.
I agree.
You said I agree.
I agree.
Yeah, you did say I agree.
Okay, So what you'll get are the words that you all have said should be included in the vision statement, and then you all each are gonna write a vision statement
Using those.
based on those words.
Okay,
Because I don't think we have enough time today to do that.
correct.
And
A
we-
week, you think? A week?
A week, one week.
That's a long
I have a
time.
question, for like potential suggestion. Is it like, to develop the vision statement, would it maybe be possible to maybe have one person take the lead out on it and then like draft it and then that gets approved by the general board? Cause I think we're getting
That's what happened.
close to like
Somebody did that and they didn't.
yeah, but I mean, like, if we each produce a version of the statement and then we
And they
each
merge
come
it?
back, yeah, like, I feel like that's like too many cooks in the kitchen. Like, if we
We,
get one,
we could form a small
or a small,
writing committee.
yeah,
Okay.
Writes it together with a smaller group and then takes it back to, I know that's a lot of what you're doing already,
Yeah, we
but
did
taking
that.
it back to the
Okay,
larger group for
okay.
everybody to vote on.
So who
how
wants
we
to
do.
serve on the vision committee using this language?
Well, I was thinking about the whole strat plan.
Huh?
I was thinking about the whole strat plan.
Strategic
instead
plan
of
to do.
what's your thought?
Never mind, can we just,
I'm not,
okay,
I'm okay to, if you disagree, that's fine.
no, I don't have an opinion. I don't have
So
an
so who wants to be on that?
The only thing, I'm sorry,
Yes,
the only thing I will check, I know I'm late, so I don't know what happened before. The only thing about if we do that, we as a board have to agree that whatever they come back with, because what happens is we do things, we come back, and then no one's happy, and then we're going back to where we started.
I agree.
So, no, I'm just saying, not just to you, Danny, I'm sorry, I'm looking at you, but it's to everyone. If we do this subcommittee or committee, we as a board have to agree that what they come back with, we have to go with.
Agree with that.
So, I mean, 'cause I don't wanna, it would be
Yeah,
pointless for us to do this, they do the
Okay.
work, and then we get here, and a lot of times that happens, somebody does the work, we get back, and as a board or a committee, we don't agree.
Right.
So, I'm all for it, as long as we as a committee agree that whatever they go with, we're gonna have to go with some version of that.
And I don't, and at least for this, it is so important that everybody be
Right.
able to
Okay,
be a
that's
part
fine.
of it.
Let's-
That, and if you all would just, just send the stuff back so you can see it, so we're ready to talk about it. All right, so that's all we ask, just send it back. And if you want on the vision though, I think we could have a little subgroup because you've agreed on the length, pieces
The
of it.
verbiage, right.
So what three people would like to serve on that subcommittee?
I'll do it, I'll help out. It was my big mouth, I'll do it.
Danny, who else?
My big mouth also.
Oh, right. Danny one, Danny two, okay.
The Dannys?
Yeah.
Okay, and one more, please. Did you say yes, Ms. Bryant?
I said I'm overwhelmed right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Did you
I thought I
say
heard
yes?
you say yes, though.
You didn't say,
We're just looking at the vision statement, is that correct?
just the vision statement. Anybody else?
Okay.
Okay, fine.
And what,
No, you.
It's not,
We only got-
we can have four.
Right.
No, we can have three.
Good.
Okay, we can have three,
Ms.
Which
Bryant,
one, which are, okay, thank you.
rock, paper, scissors.
way to twist her arm.
Okay, so those three people will wordsmith the vision based on the stuff and have it back within a week to be sent out to everybody for discussion at the next meeting.
and so you don't feel pigeonholed or what could make it a little easier is maybe come up with 2 iterations.
Oh, okay.
3 years.
Yeah, because then,
So
Okay.
we can vote for.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
people can,
But
Right,
you-
right,
Now,
right.
you're gonna send it to the three of us of the
Those
draft, of
drafts,
the
those
different
look-
drafts.
I'm gonna send the words that y'all have agreed on.
Sure,
That's what we're gonna send.
that works.
Okay,
We'll get it back by next Wednesday,
okay, fair enough.
which is
the
the
19th.
19th, yes.
Okay, and Tangi, you
Or maybe
wrote
by
that the
midnight.
19th.
End of.
End of day, right?
No, well, end of day
End
means
of business.
5 o'clock or something.
It's not closing business, it's.
But I got a day job.
Oh.
We'll make a hey, we'll make a Okay, so, and cause I think we're gonna run into this part. Mr. James was pretty specific in a couple things, so I think we can respond to those tonight
Okay.
pretty quickly.
Just for clarity purposes, so the vision committee's gonna come up, using the term, come up with 3 iterations.
2 iterations.
2
Right,
iterations.
y'all
At least 2.
At least
2
2,
iterations, send it back to Denise or staff by the 19th.
yes.
then Denise is gonna send it to the entire board,
Yes,
and then we're going to vote on it in the next meeting,
discuss and vote.
discuss and vote. Thank
We
you.
good with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So in the survey that we did, you all agreed that we would have 3 to 5 goals, and we agreed on those 5. In this submission, I hope I'm saying this right, Mr. James suggested a 6th goal.
Got your point? Not exactly. I'm just giving it as a goal. I don't know if we've agreed to what the goal, the total number.
No, we are, no, it was in the survey. So they would say, how many goals do you think, how many objectives? The response from the committee was, the board was 3 to 5.
Yes.
And you all approved the 5 last time, so then this one came.
Got you. I
So
understand.
if you wanna do a 6th one, we can put that on the table now for consideration.
So what, just for clarity, I didn't just think that they were all fixed. I just gave it as a suggested goal.
Yeah.
So not to add more work, it wasn't necessarily adding work.
Well, no, it's
But
okay. Do we wanna entertain this as a 6th goal?
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
Okay, okay, so this as a potential 6th goal is review state and county PAB-related legislation and recommend, if any, improvements to further the mission and effectiveness of the board.
Question is a goal.
That is what I said, a goal.
I say, is that a goal to
I don't know,
review?
y'all decide, I'm just reading.
One more time.
Okay, goal, review state and county PAB-related legislation and recommend, if any, improvements to further the mission and effectiveness of the board. Mr. James, I wanted to ask you, do you think we might be able to find that as an objective somewhere in one of the other 5?
It's possible, absolutely.
Yeah, 'cause
That also goes back,
The goal is a
the-
higher idea.
but that also go back to what we were talking about earlier, the or and thing. You know, when we said, we have to watch legislation to make sure, where do we go if we want to improve, like you said in that thing you say, who is responsible to change it or make that more tighter on who is it 3 of them or 2 in or? You know, we were talking about that earlier, what you were talking about. So I think that,
And maybe the goal would be to provide feedback to elected regarding our.
The goals are there, I'm saying, can we put it in one,
Well,
like,
yeah,
there's
'cause
a
I
big
think
one, like
goal
improve
3
police
Can you go ahead and-
accountability.
Goal 3
I don't really-
kinda.
Yeah.
you don't remember the
Catch
5,
all.
what's the first 5?
You want me to read the goals? Yes, ma'am.
Is that
First
what you
goal,
was asking, Mr. Melton? You had a question.
I'm
You
sorry.
said you didn't remember something, I'm sorry.
No, I was just,
Suggesting which goal.
yeah, I was.
Okay,
I was
These were the
gonna
goals
suggest
that
I
you all
thought
agreed
number
upon
3
last
kinda
time.
catches that one.
Okay, first one is improve, no, I'm sorry, I apologize. Number 1 goal was collaborative relationships between PAB and law enforcement agency heads, that was 1. Number 2 was improve responsiveness to public complaints of misconduct. Number 3, improve police accountability. Number 4, inform the public about policing matters and promote transparency. And number 5, equip PAB staff and consultants with knowledge, skills, and process to perform civilian oversight of law enforcement agents.
Okay.
So my question was, did you all think that this one could fit in one of those goals? Or do you think it needs to be a separate?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so what?
I think it would fit in number 3.
I kinda think it should go to number 5, because I think goal 5 is talking about, like,
Uh,
review, like, as a board itself. So adding that is like reviewing the language that put us together and making sure that we have, closing those gaps. Any that relates directly to goal 5, so that could be an objective in goal 5 that we put milestones on.
I think, yeah, that's 5, that's
I think there's a couple places you can put it.
Okay, but we agree that we can put it in one of them? All right.
It's basically, it's number 6 is saying that we basically want to monitor the
legislative bodies
Yeah,
to make sure our stuff, because we do have to do that, in a sense, because at the end of the Maryland session, General Assembly, it was basically legislation to weaken our responsibilities. And we have to be aware of that, you know. Yeah, and I don't know, because the session closed yesterday, day before yesterday. I think they got killed, most of them got killed in the committee and stuff. But we need to be able to monitor legislation, not only in the state, but in the county too.
I agree. So we'll find, as y'all are going through here, where you wanna put it, okay? So I'm gonna now move to the objectives for goal 1, which again is the collaborative one. So the first objective that you all agreed upon was hold at least quarterly meetings with law enforcement heads. The next one was reporting. And, the next one, which was offered by Mr. James for consideration by this group, is identify existing policy barriers and possible solutions to recommend to county and state leaders. That almost sounds like we might be able to put something in there on the legislature.
Right, and for me, just as I was thinking through this, I was focused on what can be done, not just what does it look like, but if I'm looking at a timeline, what can be done? And so, for me, that's where some of these milestones and ideas came from, for things that are within our purview. So, yeah, they still fit underneath there.
Okay, so can I get a vote on that particular one as an additional objective under number 1? Is everybody okay with that one?
Could you read them?
Yes. Identify existing policy barriers and possible solutions to recommend to county and state leaders. Is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Okay. The next recommended one is gain an understanding of the challenges facing policing and public safety from the law enforcement perspective. That's proposed objective 4.
How do we accomplish that?
Go to the police, coffee circle.
What is that like?
So one of the milestones that Mr. James suggested to answer your question is PAB members complete a minimum of 2 hours ride-along with a minimum of 4 agencies in the PAB's jurisdiction annually.
I
As a
agree,
way
that's
to-
great.
Yep,
I thought that was great.
yep, that's it.
So can we keep that one about gain and understanding?
Yep.
Is everybody in the favor of
Yep.
that? Very good. And since I read that milestone and we're not doing milestones, can we keep that one too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you this, when you're saying we're keeping a milestone, is that going, if we're not keeping them, is that going in the plan, or is that going into things we wanna do?
Now, this is, we're doing goal, objective, and milestones. So, what we asked you all to do was we agreed on the goals,
Yep.
we agreed on a certain number of objectives last time.
Yep.
Mr. James provided additional objectives for consideration tonight. And then he also took the further step of making some recommendations for milestones. So if you agree to them, they will be a part of this document.
Your question, what happens if we don't agree to them?
No?
Oh, I thought you were saying if they don't go in here, where do they go?
But I can't ask that.
You don't have to, I thought that's what you said.
I kinda interpreted it that way too, so I don't know.
I mean, that's a reasonable question. I guess what I'm wondering is, just because it doesn't go in the strategic plan, doesn't mean that it's not something that we wanna do.
Well, we're hoping
So-
that the strategic plan tells us what we want to do.
Yes, I agree completely. I'm saying that it doesn't have to be finite. It doesn't have to be everything that we want to do, or we don't have to then be bound by just what's in the strategic plan, which I think that's a lot of what we wanna do, but things may come up.
If they come up, yes.
Yeah.
But the hope is that this, remember, we agreed on a short term that would be done by the whole board and a long time that would be done by a subcommittee. So at the very least, this is gonna take us through the next fiscal year. So when you do it, think about everything that you want included for at least this fiscal year.
Is it possible that we do a catch-all and have capture as much as we can for recommendations. And then when we are all able to see it sort of laid out, I feel like maybe that's my brain, but it helps me to be able to process things in front of me in totality. If there are other recommendations that I had not seen, and even mine are not in here, but it would help me to be able to say, okay, love this. And in fact, to Mr. James's recommendation of objective I didn't think of, I actually think of this milestone. Like now I can add to his and things like that.
So if Mr. Chair doesn't mind, and I agree. So here's the thing, and I know I sound like a broken record. Everybody had a date by which they were to give it so that we could send it back out so that you could do that and be ready to opine tonight. That was the purpose of asking for the 29th. If people do not provide that so as to opine, hard to let you see it. So, Mr.
Right.
Chair, I want to make a plea one more time. If we stop and do that, because that was the intent.
Bless you.
Thank you.
If by next Friday, anything that you want to include as objectives or milestones, you submit them to Denise, just as Mr. James did and Mr. Vergamini did, and Ms. Ridgely did. That anything that is received back by Friday, we will, as we did with the original outline, put it all in there. Let you have a week to be able to read it, because I'm visual just like you're talking about, and we'll be ready to have that discussion in 2 weeks.
Okay, can you resend what you have now?
Well, what I'm hoping is that we'll get we'll get everybody's, so that staff doesn't have to do it piecemeal. They'll have them all, they can put it all in one.
No, what I meant was, can you, like, we just now decided to add his objectives and recommendations and milestones. Can you send out what we have now so that we can all work forward?
And I think I'm saying we will
Right.
next Friday, but it'll not only include Mr. James, but it'll include yours, it'll include
I
Mr.
see.
Melton.
Then we'll have time after that?
Yeah,
Yes, I'm saying by next Friday, anybody who wants to provide any objective or any milestone will provide it to Ms. Hall and staff. Staff will then, as we did before, combine them all into one document. And that one document will be sent out to everybody, giving you a week to look at it in its totality so that you're ready to say, I like, I don't like. Okay? So that we don't have to do it hard to do it this way.
The only reason I ask that is because, just like Mr. Melton was saying, once he heard certain things that have already been discussed tonight, it sparked other conversation, but I hear you.
It'll be in there.
Okay.
It'll be in there by Friday. By Friday.
A way to do, and I don't know if there is or not, a way to do like a shared document.
Yeah, we have that option.
We have, but the only thing I don't know with Google Docs, it changes it. And if people come at different times, so
Right.
it totally changed, so you wouldn't know what it was before.
But we could agree that each one of us will use a color to add our comments to the document.
Well, I guess what I'm wondering is, and you're kind of answering my question.
I
But
think.
the idea was to sort of, as you mentioned, if somebody has a suggestion, to be able to read that and then.
In here, if you look at it, I think it's gonna be just like what Mr. James did was so easy, right? He added to the objectives.
Do you use track changes?
No, he just added to the objectives.
So, when I went in the document, I just highlighted wherever I
Where he
made the change. That way, it could be easily viewed. If I didn't do anything on the page, there's no highlights. But to your point, I don't think a, collaborative doc will work. The reason is, I'm not gonna keep going in to see what may
To see who does it and when they do it.
One doc, one time, one review.
That's fine.
Now, and honestly, I picked on Mr. James tonight because he was the one I got the stuff from. I don't know if we need to know who did it, we just need to see it.
Right.
Right, so it doesn't have to be color-coded, because you'll see, and we'll just go down, and people will vote on the objectives, people will vote on the milestones.
Yeah.
And if you don't have any, don't include it, but if you have some, include it. You know that you can go up to 10.
That direction is clear.
Okay. But it is imperative so that we don't do this,
Right.
because I agree with Mr. Melton. It would have been my preference to have it all, put it here, send it back, let you look at it, let you think about it, and then be ready to discuss it. So I'm gonna ask Tangi to confirm the dates that we are saying. So next Friday, right?
21st.
Next Friday.
Okay, may I make a suggestion, and I think it would help us all, is if you could send out like a reminder, like a day before, 3 days before, just to say, hey, this is what's due on this date.
How about we put it in our phones right now?
I'll put it, you did?
No, yes, what I'm gonna do, put it in our phones right now.
So
And
like
that'll
send
be-
a calendar in, like, hey, get to it, you got this to do.
I'm gonna assume that right now, we can just write it down. She's gonna give us them dates. Right.
So it looks like what we're talking about next Friday is April 21st.
Mhm.
April 21st.
If we meet on the 2nd and 4th of each month, we will not meet again until May 10th.
Okay,
We
so,
gotta
From
change
the
that.
21st through until May 10th.
No, we
Wait,
meet on the
so,
twenty-sixth.
what's the 20?
We meet on the twenty-sixth.
This is second and fourth Wednesday, so this is the second Wednesday, so they won't have a full week.
no, so let, y'all
Which is
tell
fine.
me.
That's okay, that's fine.
In fact, I already said, my stuff is done already. I just saved it and didn't send it, because I didn't get an answer. I thought it was a shared document in the first place. But,
Okay. And what day will we get it out to everybody to review? What date from that?
Well, one thing that it was saying is that the 21st is that Friday, you're meeting on the 26th.
That's not gonna be
so
enough
if,
time
to
for
be
you
fair to
all
staff,
to do.
yeah, we should,
Oh,
we
okay,
should
right,
get
right,
less time
Right.
Okay.
to submit
Right.
than they,
The
so
19th.
whatever time they need.
Okay, that's the same time we gotta do ours.
Yes.
Okay.
So
that's
April
what everything-
19th,
Okay.
everybody is to have any
Sorry,
recommendations
right here.
to the staff.
Yeah.
And then, how long, Denise, would it take y'all to put them into one document?
Maybe 2 days?
2 days? Okay, and on the 21st, is that okay? It will come back out to you all, and then you'll be ready to discuss it on the 26th.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Two questions.
Yes, sir.
Well, one question, one point. When would the two of you like to meet? Division? Monday afternoon, online, like a Zoom call? The two of you. Do that?
Well, we'll let y'all have that.
Real quick, I think we can solve it.
I can't do it on Sunday.
Right, so let's,
Okay,
why don't you guys take that offline and let us move through that?
That's fine, that's one. The
So
second is, I am out most of the month of May, just as an FYI.
You did say that, okay.
So, again, the 19th, anybody who has, we're finished with the goals, so we're on objectives and milestones. Anybody who wants to add that, add it by the 19th. It will then be compiled and sent back to all of you on the 21st for the ability to discuss it on the 26th, right?
When will it be sent to us in terms of what it's collected thus far?
On the 21st.
No. That's when we owe our input back.
19th is when you owe yours.
Okay, do we get let me ask then, do we get another version that has what's collected thus far before the 19th? For us to add to from what's already been added, or no?
No,
Okay,
no,
that's fine.
okay, no.
So right
Although,
now-
you know what?
Right now, we're
You
just
know what?
submitting what
You're
we wanna
submitting,
add
and you'll get the
then we'll
compiled by
give
the
everyone
21st. You'll get everybody.
on the 21st.
So we're
Right,
just
okay.
asking for,
No, I think it's
keep an eye
important.
to see if I'm expecting something, but you know, or not.
Okay, so for just one more because I think that's important. On the 19th, any objective or milestone will be submitted to staff.
Individual.
They will, individual, On the 19th, anything they've received, they will compile and send it back to the entire board
Mm-hmm.
by the 21st. You'll have it starting, and then on the 21st, you will have until the 26th to think about it and be ready to discuss it here. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, okay. And that's all we will do on that particular day as it relates to the strategic plan, unless it is so complete that we have some time to look at the rules of procedure.
Okay,
Because that's the next thing on our list.
okay. That was it? So, thank you, Marva Jo. So right now, can we go ahead and take a 15-minute break, come back, and then we'll wrap up? So,
Do we have anything?
Do we want to leave?
What do we have left?
ethics training, an announcement,
But we're not having the actual training. No, so we can discuss that. I'd rather push on.
an announcement, I'm sorry, yeah. So you guys wanna continue with it?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So,
You ready for me to do the ethics training?
Yeah.
Training announcement?
yes,
I
ma'am.
sent out an email to everyone about an ethics training that is happening on, tomorrow, I
Mhm.
think it is. And, it is mandatory that you complete this training. It isn't mandatory that you complete it on tomorrow. It's just the sessions come up sporadically. So if you can do it tomorrow, that would be great. It
Okay,
is an online training. If you can't, we'll have to arrange another time, and I'm not sure when that time will be.
Do we need to reserve a spot?
Yeah.
Or?
No, it's
Oh.
just sign in with the
Sign
link
in.
that I gave you.
Okay.
Okay, but it's live.
Yeah, it's
Virtual.
live, it's a virtual training.
Virtual.
Yeah, so I
Because
can't,
we don't
I
have
have,
an online platform for the board right now.
okay, so I communicated
Yeah,
with you that I
you
can't.
responded.
What time?
6, oh Lord, it's either 6 or 6:30, I
six,
can't
I
remember.
think it's 6 o'clock.
What you
Yeah,
read.
6 o'clock.
So by show of hands, how many can actually participate in the training tomorrow?
I might.
I'll try.
Wait, what was the question?
By show of hands, how many people can participate in the ethics training tomorrow
At 6,
At 6 p.m.
at 6 p.m.?
okay.
I'm not sure.
And Denise, you said I don't have to do it, right?
You don't have to, but you can attend.
Oh, no, I can't, I have it in my calendar, wow.
We have separate training.
Okay, do you have questions?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
What is
We
needed
need
from
extra
you
help, right?
If you're
after that training, so that, know that we completed it?
The trainer will keep the record. She's from the Office of Ethics.
Okay.
Got it.
Do you know how long the training is? by
It's
chance?
an hour.
Perfect, okay, I'll knock it out.
And if you haven't done your financial disclosures, please get them in as well, because those are the only two requirements. And this training is a one-time training, so you take it as you're on board, and then you don't have to take it.
We got security awareness too, right?
I think I'm, because that was.
Well, the county,
Not us.
because you have a county ID, the county may send out a mandatory training. I'm not aware of all of them.
That was,
But it's something we should take,
So
right?
it's something you should take.
You have a laptop, so
Yeah.
anything.
So why am I?
Oh, I see.
Were there any questions about the ethics training? Okay, well, that's all I have.
That's it. Now, we do have somebody that'd like to speak to us. Can you tell us, the name of the person? Who
It is, Chief Towers
Chief
from
Towers.
high school, right?
Yeah.
He's the president of the Prince George's, Police Chiefs Association. I hope I got that right.
Okay, Chief Towers, if you can hear us, can you take yourself off mute, sir? You can go ahead and speak.
Good evening. I apologize. I had to jump off for a City of Hyattsville meeting, but I just joined back with you all, so I missed most of your meeting.
Could you give us a second, Chief Towers? We're gonna try to turn up the volume. Oh, thank you.
Can you come on camera?
Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you. You can go ahead and speak now.
Good evening. I apologize. I had to jump off for a City of Hyattsville meeting, but I just joined back, so unfortunately I missed most of your meeting this evening. But I appreciate the information about your meeting tonight and the opportunity to speak. I just wanted to introduce myself to you all, and I know I've met a few of you at our meetings, at our Police Chief Association meetings. But I want to say on behalf of the chiefs, we look forward to working with you all as we do with the Administrative Charging Committee, and we did last night. We met with them and briefly spoke. My biggest concern, obviously, I share sentiment with you all, is police accountability and making sure that there is accountability for police misconduct. But I feel very strongly that discipline and accountability must be fair, just, and swift. And with that being said, I just want to make sure that while we are working together to ensure accountability and address officer misconduct, that we're also considering that each one of these officers is a person, and these allegations that come against them sometimes are we jump to conclusions sometimes, and we need to trust the process. We need to make sure that we keep information that needs to be confidential, and that we make sure that we give the ACC, that we can trust that we give the ACC entire files and all evidence and all discovery, and make sure that that information is going to stay where it needs to be, and that all information that you all need, that we get to you, but that we keep things separated and make sure that everybody has access to what they need and what they should have. And with that, I think that we'll be in a good place.
Thank you. I got to speak to you last night, Chief Towers. So again, welcome. Thank you. And we can assure you that we are committed to performing police oversight and being totally ethical. We take all those matters that you spoke about tonight into consideration. We do not take this job lightly. Again, it is an honor to serve. It's an honor to be appointed. It's an honor to serve and represent the citizens of Prince George's County, as well as each police officer in Prince George's County. So I just want to thank you again, and we want to assure you that we're going to do the best job. We're going to be fair and equitable and make sure we apply and do the things that we're mandated to do, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you. Just out of curiosity, I've been doing some thinking and some homework and taking a look at the legislation and the different training programs that are coming down through the Maryland Police Training Commission for these committees, as well as the trial boards and other things. What training is this board going to undertake, if any, besides the mandated training for the Maryland Police Training Commission? Is there any types of implicit bias training or anything that the officers are required to take that this board is going to consider?
So we have, that's actually some of the things that we're going to be talking about, but we are going to do implicit bias training, as well as Citizens Police Academy. We're speaking now with the trainer who heads that up to try to condense it, because we know that it's a 12-week program, so they're working on now condensing something for both the ACC and the PAB, so we can go through that training as well.
Awesome. I thank you for that information and the opportunity to speak with you all. Again, thank you for what you do. Thank you. I said the same thing to the committee last night. I know you all are working late at night and passionate about this stuff as we are. Ultimately, we have to work together to make sure that we serve our community. So I thank you all for what you're doing.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, Chief Towers. Thank you. Anytime, you're welcome. Just pop in. Thank you, sir. Was there anybody else?
No, that's it.
That was it? Oh, okay, cool.
I have one question.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
So I understand from, County Executive's office that there was a complaint because I appeared in a press conference, with representing the NAACP in a settlement where a individual was injured in a police-involved, case of misconduct. He was convicted. At any rate, the complaint was that it appeared that I was biased because I was there in the press conference. I just want to be clear and transparent that the reason I was there was because I am the political action chair for the Prince George's County NAACP. I was asked by the president because she had an emergency. It happened like within an hour. I did not have time to get legal. And I didn't think that it was necessarily unethical or that it was bad representation because, like I said, the officer was disciplined for his behavior. The county agreed to the settlement. So I just wanted to be clear, and if anybody saw that or heard anything about it, that was
Okay.
Anybody have a problem or comment or question?
Appreciate your work.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Bryant. You know, and I apologize for calling you Ms. Beard. I have a neighbor, and I'm always saying that. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Let me introduce Ms. Parker first.
That's what I was.
I was gonna say, Ms. Parker is the one, Jana is one of the two people you selected for the administrative hearing board.
Okay. Yes, ma'am, you have the floor.
First, I just wanna thank you so much, and I know it's open to the public, I always thank people. It's really great to be in the meeting physically. I can speak louder. I don't need to be on camera, but I can speak louder. It was really great to be here and to hear the synergy and see the synergy, of the work group and see the understanding of how the thoughts are being brought together. I will say that, just a suggestion, the training that the ACC went through and that we went through, I think would be really good to ask if you could get the material or if you could have that training, because some of the things that you brought up, they actually address. So the statement from the state is that they're not reading it as you have to have all of these things, but a or, and that's like what the MCCS is saying, based on our training and things of that nature. And there was a couple of other things that kind of came up that was addressed in our training. So I think just a suggestion from that perspective, because I know your time is very valuable, and it seemed like you would be discussing or working on things that were already, like, decided on the state level. So just but just hearing everyone, I could definitely see passion is so exciting to sit. Thank you again for allowing me to sit.
And that training was what? The training you talking about? What was the title of the training?
It was for the civilian, hearing, board, and our training was a 2-day training. I believe the ACC training is a 5-day training, and so it was, ours was condensed, but, they gave us all the information, for example, the discipline matrix, that was in there, and that's the discipline matrix that all of the county and agencies have to use and things of that nature. And it might be new, because I was sitting in with someone and they didn't know about the discipline matrix officers. So it's just kind of, like I said, the information that we got was really wonderful. It was from the state, that's the state direction, and things that were brought up today. It seemed like they had already, they had already decided that, so it could help just kind of cut down on some conversations so you guys can get to the meat of what you guys are. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming out. Thank you for waiting for us to come down and open the door, too.
Oh, no worries.
Appreciate that.
We
Thank you.
appreciate your energy too.
And it
You
was
were very, exciting on the.
It was a pleasure to interview you, so thank you for your energy as well.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for your offer, excuse me. I don't wanna talk over people, but I wanted to.
I'm sorry.
But wanted to thank you for your energy and your offer to help out in any capacity. We understand your passion as well, and so I really thank you for coming. But next time, just bring lunch.
Bring lunch?
Yeah, but lunch, dinner.
Dinner. I will work on that.
But your energy is something that we definitely,
I got a salad.
Excuse me,
I'll
Danny.
work on some pizza.
Hold on. Let me make this point of reference, that when I am speaking, please not speak over me. Please not speak over me. I say that to say that there have been comments made that when people are talking, people who are reviewing, they can't hear. So, not even just as the chair, but to each member when we're speaking, if we can just not talk over other people, I think that that's vitally important. So it has nothing to do with me being the chair. That is a hot button, that when we're having other conversations, I like to hear and be engaged. So I think that it's important that we give each and every member of the respect that they deserve by not having that conversation. This is what we speak. But again, just thank you so much.
I'll think about that dinner. Pizza, $5, little Caesar.
Pizza.
Pizza.
So, okay, thank you. With that being said, is anything else? Oh, yes, sir.
Question, I know we had talked about complaint data, and I thought we were gonna get that.
Oh, yes.
Is there an update on where we are with?
So Denise, we did, what did we get from the ACC? She said no.
So far as of, yesterday, I believe, I got some cases.
Okay,
And we're looking at those, trying to consolidate, condense, and figure out what we need to see, how much of it we need to see.
oh, right,
And those will be ready to share with you in the, the Teams folder. In the Teams folder, that we're gonna put them in, the one that you all have access to.
okay. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I get
I
that
take
point,
what you said.
but that's not what I've asked for.
I know you asked me my complaint data. Yeah,
Yeah, we've asked for a couple weeks.
And Marva had said, I thought she addressed that at the last meeting about the complaint data, right?
the ones that come into us.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just say this, we had a meeting today with the IG and with, the ACC. There are some discussions about what and when the PAB can have access to certain data. We are in those discussions now. The PAB has a view on when it should be able to, but we had, a 2.5-hour meeting
Yeah.
today to have that discussion. It is ongoing, and we may even have to request an opinion.
What I can do, is get you a chart to show you the numbers of how many come in by the month and, where they came from.
For me, that's been the request for several months. We have, if we're gonna look and make quarterly assessments, we have no data to make quarterly assessments.
That came up
If we
today.
get 10, 0, 50, we don't know. And I'm not asking for specifics, but I don't know if it's working as far as marketing. Do people know that this is where they can submit?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's why I'm asking for the summary data, just like we provided in the annual report.
The data that I have is just going to be the cases that came through the PAB. I don't have the universe of cases. I can give you.
Send that, right?
Give you that.
Okay, send that, hey.
I'm not gonna ask you for something you don't have, but I recognize that.
All right, so Denise, you can send that, and then that'll take care of that. Hopefully, Mr. James will let us know. Anything else? Yes, sir.
I need a key card, please. Key card to the door downstairs. I don't think I ever got one, or if I did, I need a new one.
I didn't either.
Okay.
I know you didn't, but I thought everybody here.
I
know you
okay.
haven't because you're new. Can you raise your hand and let me know if you have the key card? So they were all given out that first night.
Right, so,
Yeah,
Could I have one
but
in
I
there?
have to count for the one that you have first. And I have to look and see if you signed one of those forms.
It's entirely possible, if I lost it and I have to pay for it, okay,
I'll
let
have
me
to
know,
question, yeah.
but I need a new one.
okay.
So, Mr. Burgundy, Ms. Camp, Mr. Jones, I need T-card, is there anybody else?
No, ma'am.
What are those ones?
Thank you. All right, that's it?
I move to close the board adjournment.
Seconded.
So I'll just do this. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned at 8:17.